Hello everyone, welcome to SAMAA podcast with Faiza Imdad. Today we are going to discuss about Australia's education system. We will talk about how it supports the growth and learning. We will talk about the student well-being, future skills, and job opportunities for the international students and especially from Pakistan. For this purpose, we warmly welcome our honorable guests, Ms. Melissa Kelly. She is also from Perth, Australia, Associate Director, International Education at School Curriculum and Standards Authority, and Mr. Roshan Perara, Assistant Executive Director at School Curriculum and Standards Authority. Thank you very much for joining us. I know you guys have short time in Pakistan, and we are honored to have you here.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Mr. Perara, when we talk about the education, student well-being is one of the first things that comes to my mind. And in today's fast-paced world, students face immense academic pressure. So how does the Western Australian system address student stress and promote mental well-being?
Look, I think, Faiza, globally, there is a greater awareness of mental health and student well-being. I think systems around the world are really striving to find the balance between making sure that students are progressing educationally, but also ensuring that we're not overloading the students to the point where it's harming their well-being, their mental health, their emotional well-being.
Yeah.
So with our curriculum system, the West Australian curriculum system, we have been very deliberate in how we've designed it to ensure that while we're going through the continuum of learning from kindergarten to year 12, there is enough time to allow students to focus on other things that are not just academic. So yes, rigor is there in the academic journey, but we balance that by making sure it's not overly crowded. There isn't too much content so that teachers feel stressed that they need to push more and more content on the students. So that's one way we do it, by making sure the curriculum allows time for students to pursue other things. We also recognize that students find their joy, their happiness by doing a range of things, not just being at school. Look, it'd be lovely if students were happy and fully satisfied with schooling, but there are other pursuits which add to their overall journey of education and learning that are not just unique to what happens in a classroom. So we actually have in our curriculum the opportunity to recognize that sort of journey, those experiences that happen outside of the classroom. Again, showing that there is importance that needs to be given to those things so that well-being is catered for.
All right.
And the last thing I will say is in part of our curriculum, we actually have a focus on well-being. And it's very much about student agency and strategies to actually have students develop their own sense of well-being, but for teachers as well, to ensure that they have that understanding of what's needed. So it's there across the curriculum.
And could I add, Faiza, that the West Australian government takes the welfare of all our students really seriously, and not in addition to what we do in the curriculum. We also have an organisation called Study Perth, which is partly government funded, which runs programs for students outside of their curriculum when they're onshore. So there's another support system in place to make sure they are well looked after.
Ms. Melissa, how does the Australian education system integrate values of inclusivity and cultural understanding among students?
That's a really great question. Western Australia is probably the most multicultural state in the whole of Australia. 1 in 4 of our citizens are either born overseas or have overseas heritage, and that makes us really inclusive in everything that we do. We have a particular... It's very important that students are included, no matter what your faith is, no matter what your beliefs are, and the education system's designed that way to ensure students are individual, but they're brought along for a collective journey.
There is one more important point. Climate change is no longer a distant concern. It's a pressing reality. So how does the Western Australian educational system equip students with the skills and knowledge to tackle the environmental challenges?
Look, absolutely. Sustainability is actually a core part of our curriculum. So we teach on the Sustainable Development Goals. But we also incorporate that across the curriculum in different learning areas. So it's not just the realm of humanities to teach about sustainability. We look at that through the lens of science. We look at that through the lens of the other learning areas. So you get that cross-curricular approach to how, how the importance of sustainability needs to be understood. And I think for us, climate change is very, very important. We come from a country where climate change has significant impacts on our industry, on the way in which we live and the way in which we work. So integrated right throughout is sustainability. It is a cross-curricular priority. And we also support our teachers in how they can teach on sustainability effectively including classroom practice. So it's not just about what's written in the books, but the sort of practices that you can embed in your classroom to promote sustainable practices. And that is a core part of what we do. Yeah.
Melissa, on the other hand, the world of education is rapidly evolving. So what's the Australia's vision for the future of education on the global stage, and how does it align with the emerging trends?
I think Australia, as I said before, is a very inclusive society. We are made up, we're very multicultural, we respect different religions, different languages. I think that helped make us a very good global partner. We teach a lot of languages throughout our programs, and Rashan can probably expand on how many that we do. I think as far as on a global stage, it's recognising the individual, but still ensuring that we have global citizens graduating from schools who contribute to a community, because we all belong to a wider community.
Yeah, and Faiza, I might just add, so our demographic of schools is not just one type of school. So Melissa spoke about different faiths, and we have a lot of faith-based schools in Western Australia, Catholic system, Christian system, and Islamic schools as well. And we need to be able to cater for all of those different schools, and we make sure we do that, because I think that's part of the global engagement aspect of what we're doing. But the other thing as well is education is constantly evolving. So you're constantly reviewing, and you're looking to see where we can do better, looking at other world-leading practices and thinking about what you could do differently with your own system. Yeah. That constant evolution is there. It's never stagnant. And this is, again, something that we work very closely with our schools to embrace, which they do by and large. So it's a core part of making sure the curriculum is current. Yeah.
Okay, this is the question I would like to ask from both of you. Experiencing a new country for the first time can be fascinating, and you guys just landed in Pakistan yesterday. So how is your experience been so far, and what are your key observations?
It's been wonderful so far. Everybody's been so welcoming and so positive, and I think my key observation is the passion that people have for education and access to education, and that's very similar to how we see it in Western Australia.
Nice. Mr. Parada?
Oh, I can only but echo Melissa's comments. The passion is there. The love of learning is there. Lifelong learning is there. The children are engaged as well. They're excited to be in class. They're excited to learn. These are the building blocks of a wonderful system. So we're really impressed. And we're very happy to have this opportunity to work with the WA Education Network to bring our curriculum to Pakistan and see it grow here.
Okay, Australia has become a top destination for higher education and attracting students from all over the globe, including Pakistan. So what educational opportunities Australia is offering for specifically Pakistani students?
Okay, I'll talk a little bit about the West Australian opportunities. Pakistan is a key market for Western Australia. The state government has actually invested more than $77 million into supporting our international students. If students graduate from the Western Australian Certificate of Education, they have the ability to apply for a $20,000 bursary, which goes towards supporting their studies. That's 20,000 Australian dollars. We also have a Premier Scholarship open to international students. The universities are supporting it. So there's lots of support mechanisms for students to think about applying to Australia.
And post-study work rights.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. So when students do come to Australia, we do provide post-study work rights. So once they've finished, actually during their studies, they can work part-time. When they complete their studies, the visa conditions allow them to actually work as well. Yeah.
When we talk about job market in Australia, specifically for Pakistani students, what opportunities are available for them and what sectors are most welcoming?
Look, Western Australia is a little bit different to the rest of the country. We are very mining based, so we have a lot of opportunities in engineering. We have a lot of opportunity in allied health, in nursing, childcare. I'm just trying to think. They're
even
probably
education
itself. So they would be our key areas at the moment that students would have opportunities in. But certainly from a part-time work perspective as well, while they study, there's lots and lots of opportunity. We have a very, very booming economy, which makes it great for students.
Skilled labour is absolutely vital. So the growth has been fantastic in our state. but you need the skilled labor to maintain
Exactly.
that. So for Pakistani students, I wouldn't say that the opportunities are limited to one area of industry. It's right across, So there's a lot of opportunity there, depending on what they're interested in. Yeah.
Even the arts, and I'm only talking about it because I know that you work in the field of media. We're building a film studio to bring in movies to be developed into Western Australia. So there's growth everywhere.
Mr. Pereira, here at this point, I would really like to talk about AI. Artificial intelligence is reshaping the world. So how is the Australian education system preparing students to thrive in the AI-driven world?
Yeah, look, certainly in our curriculum, there's a big focus on digital technologies. It's one of our 8 learning areas, along with design technology as well, design and technology. So there is a deliberate focus in the curriculum on use of digital media, use of IT infrastructure, including how we actually program and code and use AI. But beyond the technical aspects of AI and learning how to program in such a manner that you might be able to seek a job in the field of artificial intelligence, there is also the ethical use of artificial intelligence as well. Because, if we're focused on how people can actually develop skills in creating AI type models, we also need to make sure that they're used properly. AI, I think, is a big disruptor. It definitely has the opportunity to support education, but we've also got to make sure that it's used appropriately because, at the end of the day, the student's work is vital and it needs to be the students so we can properly assess them and give them good feedback, which will help them in the future. So we're certainly focused on through our digital technologies curriculum, which is an explicit part of the curriculum, to build that knowledge of how to use and prepare for AI, but also how to use it ethically. That's really, really vital.
Really, really important.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to know, how did you realize that Pakistan need Australian curriculum? And what's your strategy to implement the Australian Western educational system in Pakistan?
Thank you. Look, Faiza, the journey for us started through forming a partnership with WA Education Network, who are based here in Pakistan. And from there, we started to evaluate the market and the opportunity here and understood, given the size of your population and the aspirations of the country to globalize, focus more on entrepreneurship and the use of technology, we thought, well, look, these things are core to our curriculum. There's an opportunity for us to work here. We followed this up in 2023 with getting IBCC approval at a federal level here in Pakistan to start working with schools to deliver our curriculum. And the conversations we had with IBCC, what you were talking about earlier, well-being, diversity, inclusivity, and it's not just about religion. It's also about students with different needs, additional learning needs, disability, how we can bring that all together. And that focus on global citizenship and global leadership, that's all intrinsic in the curriculum. And what we can see through our research, but also being here, that is definitely a big focus, particularly as part of Pakistan's push to be more global and a global leader. So our strategy is really to work very closely with WA Education Network to not only identify schools that wish to deliver our curriculum, but the ones that we approve for delivery, we ensure that they're very well supported. So we provide pretty much everything. So all of the teacher training, so much in terms of resources. WA Education Network have done a fantastic job in terms of identifying the sorts of resources that students need. So workbooks, textbooks, and that sort of thing that are very aligned to our curriculum. And we're very happy with the work that they're doing. So in partnership with WA Education Network, the idea is that we work together to support the schools. And we let it grow organically. So we haven't set a target. We haven't set a limit. I think we are just going to go on this journey together in Pakistan, and we'll sort of work with it as it comes. But I think our early indications are that there are a lot of schools, a lot of parents out there that are looking for an opportunity through this curriculum system. So we're very happy to do this and to do it in partnership with WA Education Network. Yeah.
What's your take on it, Ms. Melissa? Would you like to add something?
That was a fairly comprehensive answer from Rashan. Look, I think education is a gift that we can give any child. And if we can share our curriculum and help change the lives of students or give them opportunities that perhaps they might not have had, then I think, we're all doing a wonderful thing because, that's the greatest gift we can give people is the opportunity to have a good life.
Absolutely.
There was really an insightful discussion on education, innovation and opportunities Once again, thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Thank you for having us. It was lovely to meet you.
Viewers, it was all for today. Keep watching SAMAA Podcast. Allah Hafiz.